In this video, we're going to show you how to install a window regulator with motor on your Jeep Grand Cherokee located inside the rear door. Use your Phillips head screwdriver to remove the screw inside the door pull. We're going to use our Phillips head screwdriver and pull your handle out. There is a screw right inside the pocket right here. So you want to go ahead and want to grab this door panel and separate this. And as we pull that out, we're going to have a couple rods on the inside here. Have the retainer clips. You want to pop those clips off. You can use a pair of pliers, or sometimes you can just use your fingers to pop those off. Just fold it out, pull the rod out, and we'll do the same for the lower one. Now as we separate the door panel, we have an electrical connector going to the switch. Pinch that tab and remove that. And we'll go ahead and separate the door panel. With our door panel off, this has opened up a big can of worms here. You can clearly see that this is just a mess. Speaker is not correct. The water shield is totally shredded. Someone's been in here, so there's a potential problem that there's something further going on inside this door. Now, when you remove your door panel, you're probably going to have a full black water shield here, and it's held on by an adhesive around the perimeter. Instead of tearing it apart like this, what you want to do is start on one end. You want to use a razor blade carefully and just gently pull up on this, and you want to go ahead and start to cut the adhesive. This is normally a self-healing, sealing membrane. So once you remove the entire water shield, you should be able to just stick it back in place, and ours is still tacky, and it would hold if we had the whole thing here. So what you want to do is continue to do this all the way around the entire water shield, remove it as a complete unit. Now if your water shield is coming off in pieces, that is not a major issue. You would simply use some sort of tape after the fact, some packing tape or some of that silver stuff, to go ahead and secure this, seal it up the best you can. All right, go ahead and remove your water shield. Now we have our power window motor connector right here. There's a red lock tab on this. This is from the factory. What you want to do is try and push this over like so. I'm going to press in on this tab here and pull the connector up from the bottom. And then we'll just tuck that inside the door because that's going to come out with our regulator. Use an 8mm socket to loosen and remove the 3 screws holding the power window motor. Using a 10mm socket, loosen the lower bolt. Up top, we're going to loosen and remove this bolt. And we're going to loosen this one. Now before we attempt to do anything with the regulator at this point, I'm going to loosen the hardware to remove the speaker from the door. You should have 3 screws holding that speaker in place. And once you get the hardware out, disconnect the connector from the back side of the speaker and set the speaker aside. Now inside our door itself is going to be your window regulator. It's pretty much positioned just like this inside the door. Now the motor itself drives the cables and it runs this unit up and down. This supports your glass. Now there are 2 clips right here, and these pop out. You're going to use a flathead screwdriver. There are holes here, and there are metal pins that go through this, and those pins are attached to the base of your glass. So the glass will attach to this, and this will drive it up and down. When we open up our door, there is a tool inside supporting the glass from collapsing down inside the door. Now, on your particular vehicle, if the regulator is currently working but there's an issue, you need to position this so that you can gain access to these metal clips inside the door itself. Doing this would require you to grab the door panel, hook up the power to it, and then turn the key on the ignition and power this into a position where you can gain access to these clips. Ours, we can't do that because it's broken inside. So we're going to go in and we're going to do what we need to do to position this to get to these clips. Now at this point here, you can see our glass is just falling down inside. That tool was supporting this in place. Now the first pin is accessible right through this hole here. Now I'm going to put a flathead screwdriver through right on the back side of that clip and just twist that, and we're going to pop that clip off. It's okay if it falls to the bottom of the door, we can grab that after. Now we're going to lower the glass down just a little bit, and there is a second one right here. Pop that out like so. Now at this point, I'm going to slowly lower this down. Until it stops. Now what we got to do here is we need to separate the regulator from those pins or that glass itself. So just wiggle that around, and once that's separated from the regulator, you got to push the glass all the way up. Now this might be where you can have an extra set of hands, but it can be done. You want to tape the glass in place. We're going to use our handy dandy suction cup here and stick this to the glass. That'll hold our glass up and in place. You want to just tape it, run the tape over the top and onto the glass so that doesn't come falling down. Now we're going to grab our regulator. We're going to pull this over, push that bolt inside, and then on the bottom, right here, we have to pull up on the regulator and undo or pull that bolt up out of that spot there. Work this up and out. And what we have here, well, we had that tool holding this here, is a broken window regulator cable. That's why they had that tool in there to support that glass up in place. Let's go ahead and replace this unit. We'll start by swapping over our anchoring bolts. I'm going to spin that out. And we're just going to get that started on the other window regulator. And we'll get that started in this here. And we have our retaining clips on the regulator from the factory here. So let's go ahead and install this unit. I'm just going to pop my window motor up through here, through the speaker hole, and I'm going to throw in 2 of the lower bolts here. That's going to allow for us to go ahead and slide those bolts into that bracket. We also want to be careful of our speaker wire and our window motor wire. All right, we have our 2 bolts for our window motor in place. Next is to get the 2 bolts on our window regulator lined up. Now that we have our bolts lined up on the top and the bottom here, I'm going to install my other power window motor bolt. Get that started, thread that in. I'm going to install our upper regulator bolt here. So you just have to grab that regulator on the inside and just kind of position that so you can get that lined up. And let's go ahead and snug everything down. Connect your power motor here. You're going to feel in here it snap into place, and then don't forget to press your lock in. So at this point here, we have our key in the on position. We need to go ahead and raise the regulator up so we can get the glass onto the guide there for the regulator itself. So we're going to plug in our switch. I'm going to raise this up. And then we can go ahead and disconnect this. At this point, you can shut off the ignition. We're going to support our glass. You're going to remove your tape or your suction cups, whatever you happen to be using to support that. I'm going to slowly lower the glass down. Now the glass itself has those plastic pins on there. And we're just going to adjust the regulator base. We're going to rock it back and forth a little bit just to get the glass to slide down behind those pins. Now once those pins line up, you're literally just going to push on that regulator bracket and it'll snap onto those pins. And there it is. Both of our pins are locked into those little snap rings. Install your speaker. Now when installing your speaker, you want to make sure that the wire itself does not get bound up in the regulator itself. This has a little retaining button on it. So wherever that had come from, you want to go ahead and make sure that that is secured. Now prior to installing your door panel, you want to go ahead and install your water shield back on the door. You're just going to adhere it back to the perimeter all the way around, seal that down, tuck it into place. Now on our particular vehicle, our water shield was pretty much decimated. We only cut off the perimeter scrap that was there, but we're just going to install our door panel. When installing your door panel, there's going to be some plastic buttons or what we call Christmas trees around the perimeter. They will press in and lock onto the door shell itself. You're going to go around the perimeter, snapping these into place. Once those are on, we can now install the 2 screws supporting our door panel. I'm going to install our screw behind the door handle here first. Snug that down. Install our screw into the door handle pull. And snug that down gently. At that point there, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.